quick introduction, I'm Laura Tobler, and I will be covering the boys soccer, and Macy is doing girls soccer. So we're kind of going to be your go-tos coordinator-wise. So for this meeting, we are just kind of going to be going over COVID and what we have to do for that, coaches' background checks, our weather policy, different concussions policies, guidelines for you guys as coaches, just kind of the general league information, the rules, all that stuff. And we will be sending you emails with lots of information on this as well. So if you miss something, don't panic. You'll get that in a PDF. So.
Okay, awesome. So for COVID guidelines for soccer, we are still in COVID. I know that it's summer and there's lots of excitement around the vaccine rolling out faster and faster, but as it stands right now, we're still in COVID. And so you either need to maintain 6-foot distance while you're outside or wear a mask. If players are playing on the field, they do not need to wear a mask or maintain distance. If players, coaches, fans, anyone on the sidelines not actively playing in the game, if you cannot maintain 6-foot distance, you need to wear a mask.
Okay, so quick on the weather policy. I guess the biggest information is kind of on the rainouts. Rainout is like defined for us as the fields are unplayable. So if it's raining, we are most likely still playing, but if you're curious, you can call the rainout hotline and find out what the status is. And we rely on like our site supervisors to kind of tell us the condition of the field. And then just kind of the lightning and thunder policy, like if you see lightning, take cover and then kind of do counting and see if it's cleared. If it doesn't clear, then the game's canceled.
Yeah, so for weekday games with the lightning, it's if there is lightning, it's going to be canceled because we don't have that much time to like push it back 30 minutes. But for Saturdays, if there's lightning, within 30 seconds or less, then we pause for 30 minutes. If it goes away, we play again. If it's not, then we cancel that game. Okay, concussion policy. If any of the players are suspected to have sustained a concussion, or if that's a thought, they need to come to the office with a doctor's note before being able to play again. If they bring a doctor's note to the field, they still can't play. That doctor's note needs to come to the office for them to be cleared.
All right, so this slide kind of goes over kind of the big information. Our season starts next Saturday, the 27th. Please get in contact with your players by Monday, just in a couple days. It's up to the coaches to set up practices. And again, like we recommend your first practice, kind of having a parents meeting as well, so that you guys can go over things, get help as needed. But our fields are first come, first serve for practices. So keep that in mind. And then kind of with the games with COVID, only two coaches on the sidelines. Everyone else needs to be kind of away. And this year we're not doing like professional pictures, but we will have a backdrop provided for a couple of games. And those dates are listed on your schedule. And each team roster that you guys get will have the kids' emergency contact information and if they have any medical restrictions or allergies. So make sure to keep that with you at practices and games just in case anything happens. Every location has site supervisors. If you guys need any help or questions or anything, they're going to be your go-to at the field. And then the fun ones, keep in mind that this is rec soccer. So we want to have fun and be following all sportsmanship rules and making sure it's a good experience for everybody. And again, just kind of make sure everyone's set up on like opposite sides of the field, the home and away side, so everybody has their area to spread out.
Okay, and quick addition on the practices. Any green space you can find, go for it. We don't reserve practices, so just go for it. Find your patch of green and set up a practice if that's something you're interested in doing as a coach. Okay, soccer rules, we will email you all the details. So you'll have the detailed rules in your coach's PDF email packet. So you can have that and distribute that. The U6, 7, and 9, we're not using referees for those. We anticipate those as really instructional leagues. So we want the coaches to be on the field, able to teach and help as the game is being played. So coaches are the referees. And we are incredibly short on staff due to some foreseen and unforeseen and COVID circumstances. So at this point, for all ages, anticipate to referee your own games. We are staffing and hiring anyone who is able to apply, and we're interviewing and hiring everyone we can. So we will staff as many games as we can, but at this point, anticipate to referee your own games.
All right, so we kind of touched on this a little bit, but just going over more of those coach guidelines. Just keeping respect for everyone involved, the players, parents, officials. What we're doing here, the game of soccer and yourself. As coaches, it's kind of up to you guys to make sure that each kid gets the same amount of playing time. And your influence on these kids can be huge, because it can be great or it can be detrimental. So keep that in mind, keep soccer fun, and, keep them liking the soccer and wanting to sign up again. And then those other two columns just kind of go over the different abuse and inappropriate behaviors, and it's not acceptable, zero tolerance, and please, if you see anything, make sure that it is reported.
Yeah, please say something. We want this to be a positive environment, and any form of abuse is not a positive environment. And with COVID, we shouldn't be touching in general. And as always, you are a role model, so use appropriate language. Okay, background checks. We currently don't have the process available to us for the background checks. It's supposed to be up and running in about a week. So please check your emails. We will need every coach to do a background check. So if you're a coach or an assistant coach, we will need your background check. If you can't make it to a game and you have a parent fill in, please send the link to them so they can get their background check done, and then they can fill in for a game. It's all online. It's really fast. So please check your email for that.
All right, so going over the rosters and uniforms and equipment and everything, again, on your guys' rosters, that emergency contact information and medical restrictions are listed. Bring those to practice and games, but when you are working with your own team, don't copy that roster because of that sensitive information and give it to your teams. But please do give your team your schedule. And again, contact your players by Monday. For the uniforms, we have the goalkeeper jerseys. And then when you pick up your jerseys, make sure that you are giving jerseys to your players by size, not because Susie and Alan want number 3, but based on the size that they are required. And then for equipment, they have to have shin guards, and they have to have approved soccer cleats that have to be plastic, no metal cleats. And then your gear bag includes 3 balls and 4 cones. And you'll want to make sure to return those on your last game at the field to your site supervisor.
And you guys can come pick up your jerseys and your gear bags starting on Monday. So Monday, the office is open Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. And come pick up your gear bags and your jerseys sometimes starting on Monday. Okay, so as I said before, we are hiring. We start hiring at 14 years old. So if you know anyone who is interested, we have 14-year-olds all the way up to full-time working who like to do this on the side as a hobby, up to grandparents. So anyone you know who might be interested in helping us out, please send them our way, sandy.utah.gov/jobs. We have been doing Zoom interviews, so they're pretty quick and easy. And we hire $9 to $14 an hour, depending on what they apply for, their experience, age, things like that. And thank you so much for coaching. We are excited to be able to play, and yeah, that it's warming up. So have a great season. Okay, last but not least, does anyone have questions? You can go ahead and unmute yourselves.
I had a quick question.
Okay, wait, really quick. If you are good with the information we've given, feel free to leave at any time. I do have the free version of Zoom, so we will get automatically cut off at 40 minutes, but there should be plenty of time for questions. And okay, that's my spiel. Go ahead.
No worries. I'm excited to be coaching again. It's been a long layoff. One question is, if the sun is bothering some parents and we have the other team that comes on to our side, are there people that we can reach out to kind of just encourage the parents to go to the other side, or do we just need to grin and bear it, or just kind of
No, please say something, especially with COVID. In order to have enough room for everyone to social distance, we need each team to take their appropriate side. So please reach out to the site supervisors. There are site supervisors at every field. If you can't quite find them, chat with the refs, but they're usually by the pavilions.
That sounds great. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question because parents are going to ask, why are we not doing professional pitchers?
Honestly, we tried to do it in fall with COVID, and it created more of a COVID issue than help. And we have gotten a lot of requests to just have some sort of background so people can take them digitally on their phones.
Okay, that works. I just want to be able to tell parents if they ask why. So
Yeah,
thank you.
for sure.
One question, you may have covered this and I may have just missed it, but do you have a list in what you're sending out that includes recommended fields for practice?
We don't, but they're just any green space. So there's like 36 parks in Sandy total. So Google will help with that one.
Thanks.
But we have games during the week at Flatiron and Lone Peak. So those will normally be occupied during the week. But other than that, we send a lot of people to, let's see, Flatiron won't have games during the week. Lone Peak will. So you could practice at Flatiron and East Ridge, a lot of times Falcon. There's a lot of good spaces.
Just a quick question. I was thinking of having the kids practice at Wildflower Park. Did any of you already have that in mind? Or I'm just
Now
wondering.
they might.
Well, they
Yeah,
might now, but
You're
I
giving
just
away
want-
your secrets. Giving away your secrets.
I didn't want to show up and be on somebody else's heels.
Yeah, and the parks are usually big enough where you can usually share the space.
Yeah, I
Okay.
was going to say, I don't think you need a whole lot of space to do
Yeah.
trainings with kids.
Yeah.
I have two questions.
Hmm.
Can we go to the elementary school or the out to practice? Is that allowed?
I am going to turn that one over to Kevin. I think you're okay to do that, but we do not have control of the elementary school's fields. So if the elementary school has like leased that field to some other group for the night, then you've got to respect that.
Okay. And my other question is there any, do we know whether any of us got an assistant coach? Or
Yes,
is it
so
just,
all rosters will be sent out. We'll send out rosters, rules, coaches information, schedules, everything. We will send that out by tomorrow. But keep in mind, we have to send individual emails to every coach in every league. So it's quite a lot of emailing time. So just be patient on when you get that, but you'll have it by tomorrow, end of day.
And you all have priorities that are much more advanced than my team. I noticed the fact that one of those bullet points said you can't have treats, which is all my kids care about. So is that true?
Yes, unfortunately with COVID, we're saying no treats.
Actually, I'm cheering that on.
Hey, how many on the field for the U9s? How big is the field? I don't recall.
That'll all be in the rules, but we can send, Laura, could you look it up
I
and
think
then
it was
send it in the
4.
chat for each of them?
I think it was
It's
4.
4 on the under 9.
4 to goalie.
Yeah,
Great, thanks.
with the goalie. But you'll see in the rules for every league for how many are on the field.
U9 is
Perfect,
a
thank you.
5v5 with a goalie.
Are you guys going to email the schedules to all the parents again, or are we going to have to do that?
We are not immediately going to send all the schedules to the parents. We probably won't send those until, if we do, it won't be till late next week. We want you as coaches to reach out to your parents so they know whose team they're on, who their coach is. And so we won't send those out till late next week at the earliest. So please reach out to your parents by Monday. Let them know who your coach is, who you are, that you're their coach, and that they have a game when and where on Saturday. We still have a lot of teams that need coaches, and so we won't send those schedules out until we fill all those teams that still need coaches.
So if we just registered as a coach, or we just signed up as a coach like yesterday to coach one of those teams,
Yeah,
rosters haven't been sent out yet, so we'll be getting those in the next couple of days.
correct.
And then are you still taking registrations for kids? Like if we agreed to coach and we have a kid?
It totally depends on the league. Some of our leagues are incredibly full and have a wait list of like 20, 30 kids on them. So call into the office and check and see where that league kind of is. There are some leagues that have openings still, and there are some leagues that do not have openings still, but they can always get on a wait list.
Okay, thanks.
Macy, if we have a family that wants to add a kid to the team, even though we're already full, is that a possibility if we're okay with that as a coach?
If they are first on the wait list, then yes, but we can't have like people
jumping
the wait list. Yeah.
Okay. Yep.
So have them hop on that wait list, and then if there's a spot, they'll get a call.
Okay.
Just a quick question.
Mhm.
The U9s you have is a size 3 ball, but last year they were a 4. So I just want to verify, because I actually just went out and bought some 4s for it. So can you please let me know?
Yes, we can let you know.
Okay.
Yeah, I had that question as well, because U9 in the fall is supposed to be on size 4, and they were on size 3, and so I was just curious because the parents are asking me if they need to size up a ball, and technically they should, but
Yeah,
just curious. Okay, cool.
Yeah, we'll check into that.
A question about if I had a daughter help out with practice, would she need to get a check, background check?
Yes. So officially, coaches or assistant coaches who are technically like on the bench, if they're one of the 2 people that are going to be up close to the field, they need to be 18 years or older and do a background check. If there's someone younger than that that's just helping out at practices, they can't be one of the coaches that's like up front on the field, you know, calling out to the girls or calling out to, I think you said girls. But they can definitely be a helper at practice.
That helps. Thank you.
Yeah.
I have a question on practicing. I've coached a 5-year-old team before, and our practices were just 30 minutes before the Saturday games. Does this determine by the coaches and the parents if you guys want to practice during the week and how many times a week, or is it just I'm doing the U7, so I don't believe they need a whole lot of practice, but just
Yeah. So as coaches, you guys get to decide if you have time to give and you want to have multiple practices, great. If you are strapped for time and you don't have the time for practices, great. If you don't have the time for practices, you know, ask parents, see who's willing to help out. But that practices are totally up to the coach.
okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Just one other quick question. Do you have any rules about using the WhatsApp or the GroupMe? Is there any rules with that?
No, we just ask that you don't distribute the roster that has the sensitive information on it. But
Okay.
we're all about communication with the parents.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah.
So with regard to the roster, we're not allowed to print them and hand them out at the game?
Correct.
Okay.
Schedules, go for it. Rosters, no. Just because there's medical information on there and we want to keep that information sensitive and secure.
So how many teams make the playoffs and when is the championship game? I was just kidding. That's just a joke.
It's a good joke.
How many kids are on the waiting list for the girls under 9?
That depends on if it's Flatiron or Lone Peak, but I don't have the list in front of me. I know Flatiron's wait list is longer.
And if one of the kiddos wants to be picked up, wants to play in the team, but they're not on the waiting list because when they tried to get on the waiting list, whatever reason they weren't able to get added on, how do they get on a team?
Have them call in because anyone can get on the waiting list. It's not an online waiting list. It's a like phone in, we write your name down, that sort of waiting list.
Okay, thank you.
So have them call in because they should definitely be able to get on.
Thanks.
Hey, thanks for doing this. This is so fun.
Yeah, you're welcome. You're welcome. We're excited to play. Any other questions? I saw there was a Katie who asked about how many kids were on per team and per field. That depends on the league. If you've got the, if you know which one it is, we can probably tell you.
Yeah, I have a U7 girls and a U7 boys. So just wondering.
Yeah, U7s are all 8 on a team and 4 on a field. No goalie.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, we will just keep hanging out. If anyone's got more questions, feel free to unmute.
Excuse me, I log in a little bit late, and I heard about like some games won't have referee. Is that what you said?
Yeah, we're really short on referees. We're hiring as fast as people apply. So if you know anyone who's interested in applying, have them apply. It's sandy.utah.gov/jobs. We are going to staff all the games that we can, but currently we're short. So if you know anyone who's interested, we start hiring at 14 and we hire through the ages. We've got grandparents who work for us and people who are full-time employees elsewhere that do this as a hobby. So if you know anyone interested, send them our way.
Well, my question for you was because I understand that with little kids it's more easy, but with older kids, I mean, I don't know how to. It's gonna be fair with older kids, you know, and say, hey, this guy is pushing too hard with the other kids, and I mean, I'm talking about like 14 and 16 years.
Yeah, and that's why we're trying to hire as many as we can, so we can get those games staffed. As it stands, work with the other coach. If there are disagreements, please talk to the site supervisors, and they can kind of help set some guidelines. But as it stands, that's where we're at.
Okay, that's totally. I think I think it would be nice if before the game both teams can talk to each other and say, hey, let's have fun, and this is now the World Cup. This is just to
Exactly. Exactly. And that's why we're sending out the rules so everyone will have it. So feel free to pull those out and have a refresher before the game with the other team, just so everyone's make sure they're on the same page.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
What about hand slapping after the game?
None of that. We just no high fives after games, just do a cheer, wave, round of applause for the other team. But yeah, no touching, still COVID.
On the youth referees, is there training that's required?
Not required, but we will train them if they apply.
Great, thank you.
Yeah.
You said that the hourly rate is partly based on experience and age. Any so a 17-year-old girl and a 15-year-old girl who played soccer many years, any guess on that?
Yeah, probably around $9 or $10 an hour. We have like different positions that are open. So sometimes we have like college kids who apply to be site supervisors, and those start at like $12 an hour, but referees start more like $9 or $10 an hour.
Thanks, that's helpful.
Yeah.
I just want to say something too. I am very grateful that you guys have these levels of games. I mean, let me tell you why. Draper they only have until up to 7th grade, but you guys have, and you know what is sad is because, I mean, some of the 14, 16, 17 kids, many kids are not, like, I would say, too good for those competitions, so they are left out. So I am really happy that you guys have these ages for those kids that don't qualify or are not for other people, they are not good. Every kid is good in their own potential. So thank you very much for making that up to the other kids up to high school.
Yeah, you're welcome. We try to be able to offer, as long as we have enough people to sign up so we can have a league, we try to be able to offer it, because it's definitely fun to have an option for everyone to be able to play.
Okay, thank you.
You mentioned the everybody plays the same. I know when I coached years ago, there was what was published was at least half the game.
Yeah.
Has that been a change or?
No, that's the same. That's the same. So everyone needs to play at least half the game.
Okay.
Yeah, that's
But
why.
obviously at these age groups and because it's rec, we want to be as equal as possible, right? Just to let everybody get,
We want everyone
Yeah.
to be able to have the experience to be able to play. But we know that some games, like, you don't have 4 people show up, and then, some people are everyone's gonna play more than half a game, which is great.
Right.
For referees, is there a minimum amount of hours needed to work per week?
No, we totally work with anyone's schedule, so that we just ask that they let us know their schedule and their availability, and we will only schedule them for what they're available for.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Excuse me, just another question, just for the referee thing. So do you know what time is the first game and what time is the last game on Saturday?
First games are always at 9 a.m. So referees are there by 8 or 8:30 to help set up. But as far as the last game goes, that depends on the league. So when you get your schedule, you'll see where your games, when
right.
your games are being played. Yeah.
Okay.
It looks like we've got 2 minutes left on the Zoom call. So if you get cut off, just be sure to email us and reach out, and then we can answer any questions that don't get answered.
I got home late from work. Was the meeting recorded at all? Can I find
Yeah.
it?
Yeah, we'll send out the link with the coach's packet so you can watch it.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, well, thanks everyone for coming. We'll see you as the season gets going.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Bye.